All right, welcome to the show. I'm a big LSU fan. Grew up in Baton Rouge. I'm an LSU alumni. Got my Tiger in the back. Repping my Saints today. Saints been balling. Love Tyler Shuck. Love that guy. Anyway, LSU football is the topic today. Really high expectations for the season. This is my expectations for what we expect. Big news: we just signed Sam Leavitt. That was exactly the guy that I was hoping we were going to get. He's the number one transfer QB in the portal. Straight baller, mobile, strong arm, love to see it. I'd love to get some mobility back after having to deal with Miles Brennan and Garrett Nussmeier recently. Um, even just like Joe Burrow level mobility, just someone who's able to get that first down. It would drive me insane. Garrett has a wide open first down. He could get it with his legs, and instead he decides to chuck it up. That would drive me insane. So I'm glad we can have a mobile guy, a guy who has the ability and also just the wherewithal to pull the trigger, run for that first down. He's super gritty too. He's super tough. He did get a Liz Frank injury. He broke his foot. He had to have surgery. He tried to play through it. Real tough guy, but it ended up making it worse. That was back in November. It's about a 6-month timeline. Supposedly his recovery is going well, so he should be ready in April. That means he'll miss a lot of the spring practices, though. That's real unfortunate. Hopefully that doesn't hurt how well he can jive with the team and how prepared the team can be. But still, really high expectations with the first ranked portal transfer portal this year. I think that is huge. That is huge. That's going to be the new way teams are built in college football. Now that we're in the NIL era, so many players go into the portal. Something like over a third of all college football players ended up entering the portal. Insane numbers. Insane. It's exactly what Nick Saban ran away from. He wanted to be able to build guys up and coach them and everything else. And it just doesn't seem like that's college football anymore. One of my big concerns when we signed Lane was that he wouldn't keep the recruiting in-house. He wouldn't keep, in-state talent. Louisiana has the highest per capita of NFL players. Super talented. Lots of great names that came out of Louisiana through LSU and everything else. So that was definitely one of my big concerns. We'll still see how that ends up playing out. But I think with the new era of college football, it's not as important as it used to be. I just would love it from a Louisiana standpoint. Keep them on. Don't let them go off to wherever and prove their name somewhere else. Let them claim Louisiana. Let them claim Baton Rouge. Let them claim LSU. That's really what I'd love to see. But first ranked portal class, obviously that's a huge deal. You have Indiana right now going insane in the college football playoff. They have no 5-star recruits, no blue chips really. They have like 7 4-stars, and that's it. They're definitely an older team, veteran team, a transfer assembled team. Kurt Signetti really brought some great guys around him. But average age is 23 for that team, super old, almost the same age as the Packers. Average age of the Packers is 25. And I think that's going to be the new recipe for championship winning programs, getting in the best players that are available, veterans, guys who know how to get it done already. And that's just going to be the new era. We're not going to see many freshmen build their way up through a program to be junior or senior year ballers. Probably not going to see a whole lot of that. But sign Lane Kiffin, sign Sam Leavitt. My biggest thing was we were able to keep Blake Baker. I think that is so huge. I really thought he was going to take a head coaching gig somewhere. He's awesome. Probably the best DC in the entire country. He was really able to turn around that god-awful LSU defense under Jaden Daniels, and we were 7th ranked in scoring this year. Boy, if we had this defense with Jaden Daniels, that's a national championship team all the way, all the way. But we're first in the transfer portal. We're 11th in recruiting. It's a little bit concerning. We lost Frank Wilson. That's really tough. He was our great New Orleans recruiter. That's definitely, it hurts more. He was an RB coach, but he did so much more for the program than just coaching the running backs. He was a great New Orleans recruiter, so that's going to hurt a little bit. But I think, especially now with the new era of college football, a lot of transfer portals. Lane's a really bright offensive mind, great offensive play caller. And then we have Blake Baker on the defense. That's just a great recipe for some real great success. So I expect at the least college football playoff berth this year. Absolutely. We're going to be loaded offensively and defensively. Whit Weeks bleeds LSU, bleeds purple and gold. He's coming back for his senior year, even though he probably would have got drafted pretty high. So much respect for that. Probably going to see that a lot more, though, because let's be real, these players are getting paid more in college than they would to be able to get drafted in the NFL. Unless you're like a top 20 draft pick, you're going to make more in college than you are in the NFL. So that's just the reality. A lot of guys are going to go their senior year, but love Whit Weeks. Glad he's staying. That's awesome. But here's our schedule for this year. I have really high expectations. We really, as far as schedule goes, this is not that bad. We got Clemson at home in Baton Rouge. No doubt that's a night game. When it's a night game, LSU clears. We're like, even with Brian Kelly and these down years that we've had, we're something like 38-2. At home, on night games. So even during the bad seasons, LSU crowd, we just Death Valley, we turn it up. So I fully expect us to beat Clemson at home. Louisiana Tech, that's an easy one at home. Then we go to Ole Miss in Oxford. That's going to be dramatic. I think Ole Miss is definitely going to take a big step back. Not so much because of Lane Kiffin, but they're losing Chambliss. They're going to have to rebuild somewhere. And obviously, they don't have the kind of resources that LSU has. So they're going to be going through a lot. Even though they made a great run to the semifinals, they're going to be falling off. There's no way they're going to keep that sustained competitiveness. So I like us to beat Ole Miss. Probably not going to be a very good team without Chambliss and without Kiffin. Then we have the Aggies at home. Got to be a night game. Please be a night game. Aggies have really had our number recently. We just got to beat them. But at home, I'm assuming it's going to be a night game. I'm going to take us to beat A&M. That's 4-0 so far. Then we got McNeese, Little Lake Charles, easy W. In Kentucky, we'll see what kind of turnaround Kentucky can have. They've been pretty bad for a while. Should be able to beat Kentucky. Mississippi State's been bad for a while. That's another dub right there. Then we get to Auburn, in Auburn. Auburn, I think last year was a lot better than their record showed. They played a lot of games tough. So this one is not a cakewalk by any means. You might assume it is. This is not going to be a cakewalk. I'm going to go ahead and give us the W, but between this game and then Alabama at home, I can easily see us splitting one of these games. Even if we beat Auburn, lose to Alabama, lose to Auburn, beat Alabama, I really like that we have Alabama at home there. So I'm going to predict one loss between these 2 weeks here. Obviously, we have that bye before the Bama game. Then we get to have Texas at home. Arch Manning was starting to be a lot better later into the season, so we'll see how he does. He's obviously a huge blue chipper, Manning family. Wish he went to LSU. It'd be awesome, keep the Louisiana going. But hey, he went to Texas. We're doing our own thing. Respect to Arch. Love the Manning family still, but I'm going to say we beat Texas at home. Night game. Lovely atmosphere. Although I do think Texas is going to be much better. Manning will be a lot more polished. So I think that'll be a really tough fight. But I'm going to go ahead and say that we win it. And then we're going to be at Tennessee. We'll see what kind of team Tennessee is. Again, since it's a road game, I'm still going to say that we're going to chalk this one up to a loss, even though I think we're going to be a much better team. It's just on the road late into the season. Either way, W over Arkansas, that gives us a 10-2 record. That is for sure going to be giving us a playoff berth. When you're 10-2 SEC schedule, we're going to be loaded. I expect at the least a college football playoff berth. I think we could really make a push for a championship run in Lane's first year. Just so many great pieces around him. Being able to sign Sam Leavitt, the combo of Lane Kiffin on offense, Blake Baker on defense. Killer stuff. So 10-2 at the very minimum is what I expect. Anything less than that, I think, is really disappointing, especially with everything that we were able to assemble around this year. Number one transfer portal class. We'll see how the long term goes with Lane. Still concerned about the whole portal versus recruiting. Obviously, LSU's big on our recruiting. I'm hoping we can keep more of that homegrown talent and everything else. But 10-2 college football playoff berth. We'll see how it goes from the playoffs. At a minimum, want to make the playoffs. If we don't make the playoffs, very disappointed. 9-3, barely missing it. I'd still be disappointed. Anything worse than 9-3, though, we got to be really concerned. But hey, as long as Lane Kiffin doesn't do any BS with the sorority girls, he stays focused. He's not distracted. Football is the game. No scandals or nothing else. I think this is going to be a potential championship team here. So. LSU Tigers, baby, making the college football playoff next year. That's my ranking. That's my guess. That's my prediction. So let's roll it. Go Tigers. A lot of faith in Lane. A lot of faith in Sam Leavitt. Blake Baker staying so huge. So a lot of expectations for next year. Let's keep them high. LSU always has high expectations, but especially next year. I'm glad we got rid of Brian Kelly. He just was not the guy. Never was a culture fit. And then he just never wanted to achieve excellence. I'll never forgive him when we had that game. I can't remember who we played, but running game was terrible all year. And in the game, he's going to say, oh, how was that running game? And he blew up on him. Come on, man. That's not how you chase excellence. You gotta, even in your victories, you gotta see what you need to work on. Hated that about Brian Kelly. Glad he's gone. Glad we got Lane. Big name. Hopefully he can continue our LSU tradition. Louisiana recruits. Great recruiting class. Obviously, transfer portal is a big deal nowadays, so I expect him to continue being great at the transfer portal that he has been for a while. So that's my picks. Make the playoffs. That's it for you. Appreciate you. If you made it this far, leave a like on the video. Check out my stuff. I got more college football, more NFL stuff on there too. But I expect more LSU content to come out for sure, especially if we have any other big news or any stuff. So check it out. Subscribe.